Says a lot about how you seem to support one another. That is important because it shows that you all have each other's back. And you have to understand when you're in this profession, if you don't have each other's back, no one else will. And what makes teaching so difficult is the fact that you are expected to invest in other people's children in ways that oftentimes they don't quite recognize how important this is. That's a hard thing to do, right? I mean, I know how many countless hours I used to spend in the classroom, before school, after school, on the weekends, and then you get an angry parent who shows up, ready to light into you. Like, you just don't know what I've been doing trying to maximize your students' potential, right? So that's why you have to support one another. This is demanding work. It will tax you physically. It will tax you emotionally. It will even tax you spiritually. If you don't have religion, you better find something quick because you're going to get it. Right, I'm serious, right? It will tax you financially. I always tell my beginning folks this, Drew, I hope you don't find this, they will make you cry. That's just the kindergartners, right? I'm not talking about the big ones, right? Yeah, first graders. I mean, you will have days where you wonder, why am I doing this? Why am I here? Did I make the right decision? Am I in the right profession? Maybe this is not for me. All that, I think, is part of the process. It's natural to doubt and to question. So we got to support one another through this process. I'm always big on us supporting us. It really pains me to see teachers or staff who don't coexist with. Because if we don't get along well, how do we expect students to coexist? So support each other. Lift one another. If you don't do that, we can't get our students to be where they need to be. So I always start with us. So I want to talk to you real quickly before, as we get started, on some things we have to do to take care of each other. I'm a big advocate of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I think it applies to teachers in more ways than we recognize. And so I just want to walk you through a couple of these steps as we get started. But Covey talks about these things that people who are highly effective do on a regular basis. And I think this has an exact fit for what we should be doing as educators. So the first thing that he says is that what highly effective people do is, one, they are proactive. Proactive. We had a saying when I was younger, when I was in college, part of the fraternity, we had this saying we used to say all the time that prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Anybody heard that before? Yeah. That's about planning, being proactive. Part of what being in a classroom with young people means that you have to be one step ahead of everything else. I always say expect the unexpected, right? You have your lesson plan laid out, what you think you're going to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. It rarely goes that way, right? So you have to be able to anticipate, to try to expect what may happen, what may go wrong. So be proactive. Try to think 2 steps ahead. The more you can be a forward thinker, the better off you'll be as an educator. Okay, so number 1, be proactive, is what Covey tells us. The second thing he tells us is begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. So what does that mean for educators? That means when you start school next Tuesday, when students show up, you have to, in your mind, start wrapping it around, what do I want these students to be able to do by the time the school year ends, right? What do I want them to be by the end of this month? What do I want them to be by the end of 2015? You're always thinking big picture, because I'm a big fan of backwards mapping. Once I know where I'm trying to get, then I can work backwards to make sure I'm taking the appropriate steps to get them where they need to be, okay? So begin with the end in mind. Where is it that I'm trying to go? And then I can create my pathway to help my students get there, okay? Third thing that Covey says, put first things first. First things first. What is he talking about?